Welcome back, everyone.
We had a
You
bit of a
see,
technical error in that I'm a fucking caveman.
also the computer doesn't like Sigmata. I guess the computer's smart in all of this.
I,
Due
The
to a
computer's
technical,
the smart one.
due to a technical
No.
glitch, this episode has to be cutting up into little bite-sized pizzas, unfortunately.
in
No,
delicious
what's happening?
45-minute segments, so at least you can read about the Sigmata.
Also, at the same time, though, your computer, Adam, it may be being infected with the Sigmata. Oh God!
It's
It
repeating
probably
the signal.
is. It's repeating the autistic signal sent by Chad Walker with his ham radio setup that he's hidden from Daddy, with the money he should have been using to actually move out of the dumpy apartment that he's been funding in favor of an actual fucking house.
But it's about the community. It's about the scenery. It's about the location and whatnot. I'm Chad Walker.
But anyway, for those who are just joining in for some fucking reason, I'm Adam, the swearing like a sailor dummy that resulted in this being split. And anyone else?
I am Alabaster, also Kyria. I am the dumbass that decided to stay after this, even after technical difficulty.
Yeah, you could have left any time after 30 minutes of me screaming at. I downloaded and deleted about 7 or so different video conversion things as well as other items. All for you viewers.
Well, that was shit.
That's
That was
Biggie.
shit.
He actually somehow became more of a saltcano than I did, which is hilarious.
I thought we were gonna have to redo the whole fucking episode.
I'm a perfectionist by heart, so whenever I mention, just to let you guys know, I'm kind of a perfectionist by heart. And the last person you heard laugh was who?
Me, Randall, who's been reading through Berserk while listening to Iron Maiden while all this has been going down.
So metal, man. So metal.
Fucking metal!
Speaking of metal, this very confused Brie Larson looking person. Yes, I stole that joke.
Boo.
She's experiencing the Sigmata and kind of looks more like she just realized, oh no, I have to get new clothes.
No, this is Brie Larson after in this alternative universe where Captain Marvel bombed spectacularly at the box office and she's blowing out all the television screens and tearing off her clothes.
Maybe a
That's
parking lot meter. Look at that thing.
I think Chad Walker's objectifying women, because look, he's objectifying women. What a fucking asshole.
This is kind of getting to TNA territory, so yeah.
Well, he already showed the A, and the T is being blocked by our favorite hobo, John.
Thanks, John. You fucking asshole.
Maybe she's screaming at the parking ticket that she got because, you know, Captain Marvel's bombed so hard that she actually is now homeless.
Oh, also, speaking to the parking meter, it looks like it's getting a gun blown through it. Is the perspective is that she's screaming and it's getting destroyed, or she got shot and the bullet ricocheted into her back? I don't know.
It doesn't really look like screaming. It's just like, ah.
The thing is, it looks like she's just got, like I said, she just got blown right to the back of her. Also looks like part of her arm's melting off on her left hand. I don't know. The art's awful.
Anyway, let's read about the Sigmata. Adam, you want to go?
Sure, let me just jump to page 58 immediately because I cannot show boobs. Borp. And thank you for your services, John, but they are no longer required.
Fuck out of here.
Get out of here, hobo. You are alone in a prison bunk, in a maximum security prison, in a makeshift tent warmed by a tire fire, on a lab table in a government research facility, in a basement surrounded by stacks of floppies and BBS magazine. That's how Chad Walker spends every night. Sorry for stealing that, too. I think that's my Sigmata signal power, the ability to steal jokes like an unfunny hack.
You're Carlos Mencia now.
I think my skin is gradually growing darker, and I'm starting to see seam lines. So maybe by the end of it, I'll start speaking in a Hispanic accent. I don't know.
Oh God.
In a padded cell inside of a psychiatric ward. Oh yeah, lunatics getting
Another
superpowers.
place where Chad Walker has very intimate relationships with.
Let's just say that he's had so many 72-hour holds that he has a cell named after him in the ward.
He self-harms himself. He's self-harming himself from trying to repeat the signal.
on the balcony of a luxury apartment in a downtown skyscraper where Chad's dad actually lives. In a dumpster behind a Chinese restaurant. That's where ADF
Chad
is,
lives.
right? I was thinking
No,
ADF.
well, ADF works too, but I kind of expect that Chad's ended up there a few times.
The sound first pierced your ears, but then your brain, your heart, your spine, and your being. It was seizure, rapture, violence, and ecstasy. So I'm just envisioning them spazzing on the floor, shitting themselves as this happens. Is he okay? Don't worry, it's just the signal. Repeat the signal. Your wild thrashing. Hey, I was right. Caved in filing cabinets, blew out windows, and ground bricks into gravel. Outlets, appliances, and telephones were smoldering ruins after your body rode current over copper like a light-speed roller coaster. I don't even know if that was a sentence I read. I don't think it was. I don't think legally it can count as one. Just like Chad Walker cannot be counted legally as sapient. Detritus, debris, and perfect spheres of smoke hung in the air like a still frame, comma, space and time no longer adhering to the rules they generally agreed upon, comma, oh wait, no, he used a period this time. Your body had evolved. I think this is the first semicolon I've seen him use. Synthetic, but still breathing, comma, metallic, but bleeding, comma, brimming with power, but stricken by pain, of commas.
But how?
Why?
I think this is his attempt to do. You know how World of Darkness, when you first become the thing, you really confused and you feel these weird vibes based on what you've become.
Mm-hmm.
This is him ripping World of Darkness off. Most assuredly, I would probably say either Demon the Descent or Vampire the Requiem.
So you're saying that this is. White Wolf done far shitty.
Oh yeah, White Wolf at least would give you cool things like clans for vampires, types of jobs that demons do. By now we'd be reading about the awesomeness of the psychopomp, but we're not there now.
Honestly, Adam, I'm not the biggest fan of White Wolf products, but that's for another day.
It's understandable. I like this simple D10 system. You get in, you can play characters like my Malky character, who was a lawyer who was the guy behind the Dred Scott case and won. That's how he became a vampire.
Honest. Okay, anyway, let's get on to some more shitty writing. Suddenly, you were not alone. A loved one shrieked in horror and ran for the nearest phone. A chorus of loyalists poking their heads out of apartment windows showered you with threats and obscenities. Helicopters scoured the streets with spotlights. Screeching tires barely heard over sirens. Then tracers, exploding neon signs, and a heavy rain of terrible commas.
I love how you're actually pausing properly to highlight that too.
Oh God, Chuck! This is Chuck Wendig level of writing.
At least we're not at the little child level sentences where it's like 4 words and then
Snarling world war dogs hammered against the doors, shut just in time. You ran when you couldn't hide and fought when you couldn't run, and tried to write when you couldn't. You did things you didn't think you were capable of, like writing this book. Between moments of abject carnage and dead silence, your guiding light was the signal. You could feel it weaken when you went one way, strengthen when you went another. It was your only ally, the only semblance of yourself, of order in the world that had completely fallen apart. And so you went into it. Don't go into the light. Don't go in there.
This is
There
actually.
are
Oh, sorry.
there. You found others like you. Oh, there's a semicolon. Others with a Sigmata.
Oh no, he's starting to spam them.
Oh no.
Others.
Okay. I have to do this. I'm sorry. Semicolons, for those of you who aren't sure where they go, you use them to combine complete ideas. It's basically a cheap way to combine two sentences. It's basically a fancier way to replace comma and. Chad Walker, the brainlet that he is, doesn't know this, and so you will see him abuse them just like he abuses commas.
He abused it like he abused the tabletop RPGs for this terrorist manifest. They took you in, and soon you were fleeing with them. The signal died abruptly as the van peeled away from the transmitter, and you sobbed like someone that had shot your dog.
So that's what. Do you think Chad Senior did that like during a hunting accident, or do you think it was like an old Yeller situation where
I think it was an old Yeller
That's
situation.
my
No,
guess
what
because Chad does seem like the asshole that would neglect his dog.
One of them laughed at you, and another held to console you. Another held out a floppy disk and said, "Don't worry, it's coming back tomorrow," like a drug dealer. And then one holding you said in a soft voice, "If you knew how to use a shotgun."
This
And
this
after
feels
reading
like a
this,
Slaneshi cult.
oh God, this is a shit Slaneshi cult. Come on, where's the high class, man? It's called the Sigmata, the signal-induced Sigmata.
Oh, that's why he
Because
calls it that. Because religious imagery, pretentious, fucking failed film school level pretentious.
how much do you think?
Remember,
How much
it's
do you
both
think?
a blessing and a curse.
At least when you're not marked by the stake, you can't sit on your sidelines anymore. Yeah. The writing's getting worse. And also I think the shotgun was really for if you knew how to use a shotgun, so you could use it in your mouth to opt out of this shit setting.
I was
All
really
right.
sad. I was envisioning that too.
All right, Biggie, it's your turn. Let's get on with it. Let's get on with gay cyborg.
All right, where do I start at?
Solitary and detested.
Oh fuck! I lost my place.
That's very common when reading
What
Sigmata.
which page is it? I was organizing my.
Oh wow, level of interest is that high, huh? We're on page 59.
All right, 59.
This is what Sigmata does to a normal
All right,
tabletop
like
player.
at the beginning, the individual one.
Yep.
All right, fuck. For fuck's sakes, I just want to get to the gameplay. I'm listening to this shit, and this is because for all you don't know, we belong to a specific group of people, and we listen to this shit almost on a daily basis. So this is nothing new to us. We hear this shit every day when we're listening to wackos like Chad. And I'm just tired, for fuck's sakes. I just want to know how to play a goddamn cyborg game so I can eventually run into the future where these motherfuckers get gunned down like the dogs they are.
I will say that I'm at the very least happy we're finally out of the psychotic manifesto and into ripping off various White Wolf supplement books for your garbage
Oh, it's gonna
idea.
fucking come back. It's gonna come back, and it's gonna come back with a fucking vengeance. Just you wait.
You know, you're probably right.
The individual, when first struck by the stigmata, is a monster, an outcast, alone, in mortal danger. Her transformation is as violent as a demonic possession, and without mastery of her new form, her gifts manifest as destructive and uncontrollable outbursts. To those who don't quake in fear, in her biomechanical visage, she is still a Soviet terrorist who is better off having her body separated from her head. If she could live alone or in squander or on the oh fuck me, I can't pronounce big words.
Periphery.
Edge of society.
Stop using your big words, fuckwad. I'm a forest boy. She would. Her new skills should her new shell needs no food, water, oxygen, or the warmth of shelter, but they won't leave her alone. She is stalked by men in trench coats and jackboots. They bring cattle prods and revolvers to subdue her, handcuffed, in radio repelling Faraday straitjackets to contain her. The Stigmata Project created her new body, and to get it back, they need to destroy the mind that animates it through electroshock therapy.
I
This
just
is
When
this is Francis E. Deck tier stuff. Is the regime headed by the computer god communists on the far side of the moon with the brain banks that we don't see?
I was
Gangsta police state.
you're
You know
Are we
what?
going to go? Are we going to go? Are we going to go Mecha Hitler 2000? Is this going Wolfenstein?
you
You
wish.
know what?
God, it would make it
I'm
so
gonna
more
say-
interesting.
I'm gonna say right here, right now, I would rather be reading Franklin D. Deck because at least he.
You could make a fun
I-
setting out of his ramblings. By the way, I like how you went the high road because I was trawling in the fucking sewage, and I was thinking this sounds very suspiciously like something that Chad Walker has done, which is stumble upon a vulnerable woman wearing a trench coat and wearing jackboots to prove his toughness, having a cattle prod to convince her into his den.
With special magical van with no windows and locks.
We have to be. This is all speculation. Come on,
This
guys.
is true. I
This
can't
is-
say for certain at all that Chad Walker is this type of person. It's just based on the writings that we are seeing and the kind of accidental hints at the mental state. It really makes you look.
Do you think Sigmata really was his auto? What do you think it was his autobiographical diary that accidentally got translated into an RPG?
Maybe.
That'd be amazing.
That would actually be if that were being proven true. This would totally blow my mind.
When, why, and how the signal chose the next receiver remains a mystery. Their
Autism.
numbers remain unknown, but it is suspected that there might be less than a dozen in North America.
So
The only-
special.
The only constant is that they have all been born when the signal was broadcasted over FM radio in a region where it has never been broadcasted before, or in an area where the signal was reignited after a long period of remission. When an individual begins experiencing the stigmata, this event is felt by all other receivers who are in range of the same carrier waves delivering the signal to the new receiver.
Creepy.
They know she will be instinctively drawn to the source of the signal, like a moth to a flame. So they will go to that place and await her arrival for as long as they can. Unfortunately, those sickened by the stigmata, the regime possesses the same knowledge. Those who are taken in by other receivers will come to master their new form and learn to mask their true nature from onlookers, meaning interaction with normal society possible again. However, those who hunt her are still on the prowl, with heightened resolve, for she is no longer just any escaped experiment. Now she is a cybernetic revolutionary and an enemy of the state.
This sounds like it was written by a sex offender, honestly.
I'm gonna say right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say right now, like, I mean, if these are like super soldiers, why can't like the regime like get a couple saying, "Hey, if you join us, we'll give you some cool shit."
Or
That's a
maybe
good
if you
question.
join us, we'll like we're gonna put like Gatling guns and shit like that on you.
You could, yeah, we'll give you millions of dollars to live a comfortable life if you help,
Yeah.
fight
Hell,
for us.
you could become the prime minister of coconuts or something.
You can run many of even you brown people that have infected with the Sigmata. You can rule a banana republic that we may set up.
Or alternatively, because you have managed to hear the signal, you are a true citizen of this country. It's that sort of thing. Like, they are above us. They are citizens of citizens.
You
Why
are
are
the
we better-
Ubermensch.
Why are we better writers than Chad Walker?
Because we actually enjoy RPGs and we're not writing a terrorist communist manifesto.
We also
Anyway.
don't have a malignant and broken ego that doesn't allow us to hear criticism.
Manifestations of the Sigmata. Those who endure the Sigmata are called receivers. Again,
funny.
the other for their bodies are tuned to receive the signal.
You mean
An
semen? You mean semen.
enigmatic number sequence that grants them immense power when it is broadcast over FM radio.
So AM radio is their weakness. That's good to know.
No, the ones powered by AM radio are called gifters.
I
Oh,
just
gosh.
realized something. You
So
can
what what is the XM radio a bunch of hipster? Are they a bunch of are they the pretentious rebel cyborg people?
I'm just envisioning like the thing I just realized is I'm just now envisioning, because I've been rereading my Hellboy comics. I'm just envisioning Hellboy countering one of these psychotic gay robots just by playing some Rush Limbaugh on AM radio, and it just causes them to shriek and run away.
It's oh gosh, wait, is this with radio signals? This is getting to Silent Hill shit, man. Is it? Are we in Silent Hill? Is the Sigmata not real, and this is just Silent Hill?
Let's listen to this body horror here. The Sigmata changes the body's physiology in dramatic ways. The skin hardens and takes on the sheen of flesh-colored porcelain, flawless shape for clusters of small octagonal depressions and fractal spirals replacing moles, birthmarks, and other natural irregularities of the skin. Prominent veins reroute to appear like the conductive tracks of a circuit board, and seams form that segment limbs, digits, and major muscle groups, as if the skin is merely coating the exoskeleton of an expertly crafted machine. Given that they are a fusion of flesh and machine, it would be trivial to identify and hunt down receivers if they did not have the gift of the stranger.
What?
What?
The gift of the stranger. What are you gonna get raped or something?
Have stranger danger.
I was thinking more like, is this Chad Walker trying to clutch onto the Game of Thrones thing where the stranger's death?
Something they learned through interacting with other receivers. A receiver can encrypt her physiology so she appears as innocuous and unmemorable as the sea of faces you forget as you walk down the street or ride the subway.
Oh my god, that's basically the World of Darkness. That's how demons hide.
I knew it.
They have like aliases. I forget the term, but basically they create this quantum shell around themselves that basically serves as an alias, a false identity. And you did know it, yeah? What'd you know?
I guess that there was something similar from World of Darkness, because of how much of a hack Chad is. She doesn't choose what this facade looks like. Rather, it is informed by the ingrained biases of whoever looks on her. Just another working stiff, just another yuppie, just another tourist, just another sad sack, like Chad Walker. A receiver. That's just going to be a recurring pun, like Chad Walker.
That may be the episode title, like Chad Walker.
A receiver can also encrypt her voice to sound like unintelligible murmuring, an unknown foreign language, or technical jargon, the sounds we naturally ignore in crowded places like restaurants, theaters, and sports venues.
Not to mention books like this.
I'm just envisioning, like, this is Chad's ultimate fantasy, to just be able to be ignored for being Chad Walker.
I feel like he's incredibly autistic that even the quote unquote social justice crowd gives him a blank stare as he speaks his rave ramblings, sounding like he sounds like where the homeless man that speaks about the apocalypse on the street sounds more lucid than he does.
No, the apocalypse street preacher is a cool guy.
Yeah.
They're fun to talk to. Chad just sounds like he'd be grating and annoying. A receiver does not choose what her When a receiver encrypts her appearance or voice, the only people who can see or hear her true nature are those who know her handle.
The true name of a demon. Fuck!
What's going on?
Important.
I don't remember if Demon the Descent had that, but that's so common with demons. It's the natural extension. If you know their true name, you can fucking affect them. God damn it.
An important phrase of power she shares with the greatest discretion. See, I was just gonna go with the lowbrow. Hey, Beavis, he said to handle. But yeah, this is World of Darkness ripoff.
Can we go Discount World of Sigmata, aka Discount World of Darkness?
Discount World. I vote that for episode.
Demons, the dollar store experience.
Yeah, I vote for that. Demons, the dollar store experience. These effects also work in photographs, videos, and audio recordings of a receiver. A receiver can drop this encryption at will, but these gifts are the only way that receivers can interact with normal society.
So, the signal. To understand what the signal is, it's useful to think about modems, which, Chad, no person aside from 0.5% of the US population uses modems anymore. The people that can't get decent Ethernet cable connections, they use satellite. Whatever.
Well, I mean, this is the 80s. Remember, this is hey.
Or maybe
God, I'm about to rip out of my own skin.
No, it's the 80s, Adam.
it's
You
the
don't
Sigmata
understand.
getting. Oh god, the Sigmata is getting.
Just skip.
I'm rapidly
Okay,
becoming Mexican. Help me.
Either skip this part or just
Don't
read
repeat
it,
it,
because this is
Sigmata.
cripplingly autistic. This is playing with Chad's obsession with cryptography.
Sorry, guys. Due to crippling autism, we're going to repeat the signal, which is actually a code word for just stimming for Chad Walker.
Oh yeah, I'm repeating the signal, baby. I got my pants off right now. Let's do it.
I was actually thinking of him being the type of person to flap his arms or bang his head against the wall, but okay.
You mean repeating the signal is not a code for masturbation?
Honestly, given it's Chad Walker, it probably means both.
Oh.
Keeping the signal alive is like keeping a campfire lit in the middle of a blizzard. Yeah, with a copy of this book, which, by the way, I do suggest you buy it just for the entertainment. A radio station broadcasting the signal will be detected by the regime almost immediately. Unless the station is deep within resistance territory or protected by armed partisans, it will be swarmed by regime forces and silenced. Even then, the station lives on borrowed time. If a station broadcasting the signal cannot be overwhelmed by ground forces, it'll be bombed from the air. There's almost no limit to the collateral damage the regime will tolerate to achieve this end. But wait, I thought it was like a resistance. This sounds more like a civil war to me.
Yeah. Also, doesn't EMPs exist? Isn't there ways you can fudge a signal?
Oh yeah, it's easy. EMP weaponry existed for I think I can't. Okay, viewers, I don't know exactly when, but I'm pretty sure EMPs have been a thing since nukes were invented.
Yeah,
Like since
but
the hydrogen bomb, so like 1950s.
Nobody knows.
I think it was the Starfish Bravo test or something where they were nuclear testing out of the Pacific and knocked out power to one of the Hawaiian Islands.
Yeah, wow! I can't believe that in this section we can actually teach Chad how things work.
I mean, if the regime
Educational.
I mean, almost no limits. Maybe they do reduce it to nukes, but I mean, I think enough poison gas would work too, and that's a common
You
theme.
can. I thought EMPs. I thought like pulsing stuff is actually like retardedly easy to make.
Oh, it's pretty simple, so you could probably just do that. Either way, this is easily winnable. If the smothering of this fire is all but guaranteed, then the only way to keep the fire burning is to start new fires elsewhere. That's also known as the English method to rioting. Oh, don't feel bad, England. I think all of the Commonwealth, including America, borrowed it. This is what resistance refers to as repeating the signal, aka stimming. There are two ways to repeat the signal. The most direct method is to literally repeat it using radio repeaters, devices that receive radio transmissions, and then rebroadcast them in real time. Oh my, nope. I ain't reading that. That's basically more radio autism. You want to skip that?
Sigmata BB. Oh god, all this looks like all. Oh God, Sigmata
Nope,
BBS.
we're
This
skipping all that.
Oh, no. The second paragraph has some hilarity.
Okay, Al, do you want to take that?
okay. Sigmata BBS.
Oh no,
Oh,
reigniting the signal apparently. That's funny.
reigniting the signal.
No. The Sigmata BBS has the funny.
Okay, Al,
Okay.
you take that then.
Our receivers. I'll fine. I'll just read the whole damn thing, I guess. A Sigmata BBS is a phantom bulletin board system hidden somewhere in the forgotten recesses of the American telephony network. Leveraging enigmatic protocols hosted on unknown technology managed by psyops no one has been able to make contact with. No one, including the architects of this book, knows how this shit even works, or if it even exists at all.
I'm not lying. I'm at in Event Horizon, the person that's chanting in Latin, "Save yourself from this hell." I'm about there mentally. I'm very close to ripping out my own eyeballs.
Don't you know that? Don't you see how I'm deliberately making my own creative edits to what the word?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm getting fed up with this. I'm getting fed up with essentially the equivalent of foaming bullshit.
All technical orders to trace or tap connections to it always fail. The only reason it is even known about is because all receivers have connection to at least once, usually by accident. A receiver's first.
So he's a hacker on steroids.
Oh
Oh
my
God,
god.
I think this goes into Chad Walker's hacker fetish, which we will go into in another book of his.
Yeah, what was it, Cybermancer? Oh
A
God.
receiver's first connection to Sigmata BBS is nearly as jarring as her initial transformation. The moment she hears her first dial tone as a dial tone, what are we going back to 1830s phone?
Okay. What's the name of that one guy that is really obsessed with things from the 90s and does not like Windows XP?
A loser.
Mylar Balloon?
Do you think he wrote this section?
I don't even
Oh
know what you guys
God.
are
It
talking
feels
about.
like he wrote this
no.
section.
Well, no, he hates commies.
Okay, at least we
He
know.
lives off of welfare.
At least
I
we
don't even-
truthfully know that it could not be Mylar Balloon Fan.
I don't even know who you're talking about.
It's just all this boomer fucking tech that Chad's barking about. It feels like a rant that Mylar Balloon Fan would fucking write.
Okay, why does he have to go into such autistic detail when he can say that sophisticated hack network shit like this? This is how it works. Boom, get to the point. She goes into a trance and begins to involve involuntarily speech modulated into her phone's receiver. What she's doing is registering her handle. Oh God.
Oh no.
Which is a unique word or phrase of immense power.
Demon ripoff.
Even if she has never spent time in BBS before, she adopts an elite sounding hacker. Oh God. Okay, guys. Shh. We're getting into Bolt Thrower. Dark
Art.
Satyr, Bomb, Ass
Adam.
Bomb,
That's
Cat
Atom
Bomb, Cat
Bomb.
God, Cato God, Diode,
Domino.
Demon, Johnny Hash, Psychops, Plunderer, Slider, Zipper, Cold Steel,
Yeah, Cold
Jeffrey
Steel.
Cuddlepan,
Jim Bob Jorpel.
McGangbang.
Paul Blatt Nipplop.
42069.pootang.
Cassian Andorian.
www.cumzone.com. www.cumzone.com.
Shaggy, Scooby, and the Gang.
Space Jam, the website.
Pinky and the Brain.
So she can share this name with those she trusts, such as other receivers or other autists in the resistance, so they can see through her gift of the. Oh God, that sounds disgusting.
I have a fucking headache because of this section.
Is the gift of the stranger just a metaphor for a?
I think it's actually
Yeah.
begging for the sweet release of death because this is easily the worst chapter in the book.
Is this
Jesus.
about? Is this how the rat? Wait.
Vicky, let's go back to that. So the receivers are gifted with the gift of the stranger.
Yes. The stranger was the originator of the gift. And by gift, we mean fucking AIDS.
Oh wait, no. This is guys. This is how this is the origins of the Rat King. This is how the Rat King forms, people.
If you want to know what the Rat King is, go to kiwifarms.com and you'll know about the transsexual conspiracy Illuminati.
Given the members of the resistance are constantly being caught and interrogated, she must be very thoughtful about who she shares her aids with. The regime is constantly distributing internal lists of compromised receiver aids so that all authorities and loyalists alike are able to detect and neutralize receivers of aids. If she wants or needs to change her aids, she can contact Trans Health Hotline and register a new aids, where she retires her previous aids anytime she has access to a phone. Then she must find a new way to distribute the new aids to those she trusts.
You know, honestly, if you
Jesus.
rework this to just be that they spread plague, that would make the book at least more interesting.
No, that's for another book. That's spreading things like that. That's for the book that we'll review next.
I'll tell you what, guys.
Ethics and terrorism.
I'll tell you what, guys. This book is adding a lot of positivity.
Uh,
Yeah.
All right, Biggie, take it away because now we're into mecha spurging now.
All right, good. This is what I like. Okay, the cybernetic gay AIDS revolutionary motherfucker explosion propaganda. The circumstances of a newly transformed receiver force her into one of three possible fates. She can shun civilization, flee from place to place as regime hunters close in on her. She can submit to the regime, be brainwashed into accepting its ideology, and become an instrument of its will. Well, I mean, wouldn't that just be the good? Like, yeah, that's the one I would do. I mean, just say, hey, can I fight for you guys if you give me money?
Especially since it seems accidental that this happens too.
I mean, what if like you're a loyalist to like the regime and you're like, yeah, I fucking hate black people, and then like you get the because it said it's completely random who it happens to, and like, okay, guys, no, better what if you're one of the mask actually? What if like you're just you're listening to like your radio one day and then the signal gets you, and it's like, well, fuck, hey guys, I got superpowers now. Can I be a super soldier? I'll be Captain Fascist America.
I was thinking more like Captain Kilgore, where he's literally just decked out Go on.
Now the question is, do you think Chad Walker's going to be competent enough to put in a character like that you can fight?
That's a good question, and given that he wasted how many pages just spurting about his love of 80s technology that no one except really old and almost dead people use in Bangladesh, I don't think he can. I don't think he's mechanically able to. I think the only reason he has this apartment is because Chad Sr. feels obligated to support family.
Tell you what, if we can't find any mention of that, I'll give you, I'll get you a $10 game on Steam for you, buddy.
And if the same thing happens, what do instead for you?
Ah, fuck it, I'll think of something.
Okay.
Something $10.
It is kind of a deal.
I'll get you like, I don't know, like something like, I don't know. We'll discuss it later. Something $10 though.
Yeah, but what if you win and I lose? Do I?
Onto gay robots, people.
Like I said, we'll do something $10-ish. All right. Or she can go along with the who have the resistance and do battle against a regime that not only persecutes her and her comrades, but also crushes the people. Wait, hold on.
I don't blame you. It's easily to get lost in here.
What the fuck is going on? Okay, so, but I thought the resistance were the good guys. What? Wait, hold on. No. She battles against the resistance that only persecutes her and her comrades, but also crushes the people. Her fate rests in her and theirs. In Stigmata, players control receivers who have joined the resistance because they recognize their liberation is predicated on a people's liberation, but they very well might have cared those who chosen a different path. So I guess that's implied. Receivers enjoy an almost mythological status in the resistance, not simply because of the signal field reckonings they have delivered onto the regime, but because very few partisans know that who among them are the resistance cybernetic vanguard. The identities of the receivers are chosen uh, are closely guarded secret, known only to their closest comrades and a handful of senior leaders in the movement. The regime offers a large cash rewards and political amnesty to anyone who provides information leading to the death or capture of a receiver. In fact, IOPS have been known to release or capture or compromise resistant partisans back into the wild, assuring them that their life, their freedom, and their safety of their loved ones will only be assured once they discovered an outer receiver.
Gay
Fortunately,
parallels.
fortunately, the AIDS gift of the stranger permits a receiver to vanish back into anonymity. Even she expresses her true powers in front of partisans, assuming they do not know her current handle.
So
It's a
again, this is another thing he ripped off. Werewolves have a thing where when they show off their horrible forms, people literally forget.
I this I was listening to this. This sounds so Mary Sue-ish. This is probably why, and I noticed that's a problem. That's part of a problem that what can happen with White Wolf products. This is why I tend to not like them. That we have dollar store White Wolf makes me even more infuriated.
See, the difference is you can come up with some cool things. Like, you're thinking of the edgy or Mary Sue things. I'm thinking like the Scooby Gang who make deals with ghosts and get weird powers based on them to save their lives from a horrible car crash in a river. So it's basically Scooby-Doo, but you have ghosts helping you.
So Scooby Doo meets Capster the Ghost is what you're saying.
Or you could do the Venture Brothers as a mage because they have a lot of technocracy stuff, so.
Okay, Biggie, finish us off so Randall can welcome us to what he made.
Fuck you! There are receivers who have walked away from. They live in solitude in most inhospitable places in the country, inside sewers, industrial ruins, irradiated waste dumps, caves, and at the bottom of lakes.
Oh god, imagine being the unfortunate fisherman who gets one of these guys.
Is
Oh,
this the?
dude.
Wait.
I guess you can say that fisherman just caught the AIDS. It's funny. It's funny. Okay, fuck. Okay, rarely making contact with civilization, and then they exist as myths and legends to frighten locals who have stumbled into their refuge or seen them stalking in the distance. Without
Bigfoot.
continued,
By the way,
without
this
continued,
podcast is brought to
so,
you by, what's the name of that Canadian beer brand from that one movie, Strange Brew?
I'm not much of a beer drinker, so I can't tell you.
Oh gosh, I forget. It's not a
But
real
you can
one.
thank that, because if it wasn't for booze, we'd have quit by now.
What,
Yeah.
I would love to play if we had to do a one shot. I would love to do a Strange Brew one shot. That'd be fun.
I am unfortunately not of legal age to drink, and I drank all my Gamer Mountain Dew from the first episode. I don't have any more
Dude,
gaming Mountain
you
Dew.
live in not. Oh wait, no, you're currently living in Mormon land. I
Shh,
forgot
don't
about
tell him! You fuck!
Yeah,
You're gonna dox me!
so basically
Fuck
some of
you!
the robots become Bigfoot. Move
that. I
on.
didn't dox shit. There's like 8 or 9 states full of them.
They're gonna find me. The signal's gonna get me, Adam, and I'm gonna get the AIDS.
My computer already has AIDS, so I consider this fair play.
My eyes are starting to bleed, guys.
Yeah.
Rarely
this
making
normal?
contact.
Oh, God.
Rarely making contact with
Lube up your
without
asshole.
without
Because-
continued sexual reciprocation with the receivers and society at large. They begin to lose the AIDS gift of the stranger to the point where they can no longer pass as human and instead becoming raging homosexual monster demon babies. Both the regime
So Toxie
seek out
became.
these loners to acquire. Adam! Both the regime and the resistance seek out those loners to acquire as a powerful ally.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think we're getting somewhere. But their self-imposed solitude and sometimes grotesque, sometimes pitiful substance make them extraordinarily hard to recruit. In some cases, they have become extremely dangerous, living up to the frightened myths and legends that the locals have described from the
So,
original.
so is this basically if Toxie decided that he was going to be, if Melvin, aka the Tox Avenger, decided to become a raging homosexual and murderous monster that murders everyone?
Don't bring Toxie into this. Toxie is the greatest superhero ever.
Well,
Right.
isn't his like little furry companion supposed to be an allusion to testicle cancer?
Here's the thing, Al. Trauma movies are better written than this book.
Oh hell yeah!
That I have to say that is how fucking disgusting this is.
Remember the Toxic Crusaders? Toxic
That thing-
Crusaders, Toxic
Crusaders. I still can't believe that exists.
I can.
What's better?
Amazing.
What do we do with a violent movie? Turn it into a kids show.
That sounds
Alright, hold on,
perfect to me. Oh
We
god,
gotta-
that was rough. Do we even want to continue to Welcome to the Future, or should we hold off?
I flipped through this. It is possibly the worst segment so far. It's Chad
Oh,
spurging about what boomer technology in the. This is nothing but his spurging about boomer technology. I say we just
V8?
is on 80 on 67 and 71 because they have some amusement and just skip the whole thing.
Jesus,
Because god damn it,
he's not wrong. It's literally talking about VCR, VHS,
oh
electric bulletin boards, 64 kilobytes of random access memory.
So my question is, who decided to listen to Money for Nothing and only listen to we got to move these microwave ovens and custom kitchen deliberately?
So I'm
love
going
that
to just
song.
go to this picture of the clearly stoned out of his mind hippie kid in his Bill Cosby sweater, with a very rapey looking girlfriend maybe looking over his shoulder, maybe to steal his skin.
I hear the creepy ones are a good fuck, but I don't know these things.
Well, my thing is though, Mig Hunter looks like a fun game though. Who would want to play a game that's akin to Afterburner going to blow up Soviet MiG?
Is MiG supposed to be like a slur for something? I don't
No,
know.
MiG
MiG is
short
for Nig.
is-
That would be Nig Hunter than Biggie.
Oh no!
No,
Oh, you can't say that on YouTube.
for those wondering, MiG comes from the term Mikolavin Gerovich, basically Michael Gerovich or whatever. It's basically Russia has weird naming conventions for their things, and in this case, it's just the name of the company. Well, not company, but the design bureau, along with places like Yakovlev and Tupolev and
layman's terms, the MiG is basically the Soviet equivalent to the to what would be our F mod.
Yeah.
Hey, but remember, in this timeline, you get wonderful games like Plumber Jumper, Mrs. Cram Man, Triple Tiamat,
Where's that?
and MiG Hunter. This is on 77. This is the fucking lore.
For like video games.
Oh no.
Let's just riff on the fake TV signal on 71, where our first ad is Vault of America, the only bank backed 100% by Nazi gold.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I saw this.
What?
So, I think my favorite one of this is there's a TV show literally known as List of the Martyr.
I like the Homesteaders. Frontier drama. Grandpa Joe gets rid of the Indians for good.
Avoid a seat. A transmat error sends Intrepid to an inverto world where lesbianism has crippled the empire.
I like Whites Only Wash. It's a sitcom about the degeneracy of the state's enemies. Oh, cool.
Action hour. Cartoon and F-Nords. The fuck?
I can't get over the Vault of America backed by Nazi gold because I mean, it's supposed to be the 80s.
This
When is
literally
people
screams like the National Enquirer.
Wouldn't people like even in the 80s like Well, anyway, be like, fuck Nazis back then, still at the very least.
Yeah, but it's fascist orders.
It's-
Even if you're a
yeah.
hard raging racist, I think like the average person would hate the Nazis because
Oh.
Also, there were different types of fascism. You could hate Nazism and go with Rexism or some other types of fascism. This
I
is what
think-
Chad's forgetting.
Oh,
I think
oh
the
God!
part
They
that
have
makes
a
this, the part that
we
makes
have
this
a
even more
US
hilarious is because like I mean like I don't know much about alternate history 80s, but if you put like a swastika on a newspaper in the 80s, how much shit would you get back then?
a lot.
A lot, but not as bad as if it was in Germany. By the way, I just saw the Star Trek bootleg. Sci-fi. A transmat error sends the Intrepid to an inverto world
I told you about
where
this.
lesbianism has crippled the Empire.
Here, listen to the Waldo
Oh God!
show.
Oh God! Oh God! The Waldo show.
Yes,
Waldo
Waldo.
interviews a mongoloid.
Where's that?
This is, wait, Chad decided to have a self-insert. Chad got interviewed.
Oh,
Strongest woman
look!
Thrushes
The
heckled.
Dallas ripoff. Soap opera. The star-crossed children of space tycoons feud during the Malaise and the Long War. Greg Feth is repellent as Sly, Rocket Bear, and P.T. Brown.
oh, hey, look. Speaking of the Star Trek knockoff, right next to the Nazi gold, there's an ad for
Yeah,
Man
Cosmic
Conquers
Tune.
Man Conquers the Stars every Thursday at 6 in Boise. So this is the anti-Star Trek. For instead of peace and prosperity, the white man turns it into conquering. They
That
turned
kind of
They turned Star Trek into 40K.
doesn't
Hooray!
that almost kind of look like the Defiant?
It does. It does. Fuck you, Chad.
But Benjamin Sisko is going to sue.
The Cool Cola Action Hour. Quack Attack. Harry, Larry, and Barry defend the gold standard against Scum.
Yeah,
That would be awesome. Watching Huey, Dewey, and Louie just basically murder people. That'd be awesome.
By the way, I like how none of you have looked to the bottom left for the other ad. It might be your last. Make it count. Mammon's all new American smoke. Mammon's, as in the demon of greed.
Subtle, Chad.
Oh,
Subtle.
War is
peace.
Look at that. War is peace.
War is peace.
Subtle, Chad. Subtle.
I love the model that he used for the soldier because he looks low T.
Yes.
You know,
Wait. Hold on. This may actually be the composite of Chad Walker. He may have had himself drawn in.
oh god, I really don't want to move on from this page.
It's
Let's
all
just take a while. We have the Cheers knockoff, Ave, tavern sitcom, Who Killed the Bald Eagle.
Oh, no, who won't salute who killed the bald eagle?
Reverend Smiley guides on Maiden Redgill, busting the poison prey theory wide open and exonerating Vasigo Pharmaceuticals. Eagles are extinct, apparently.
Citizen's Lullaby is pretty creepy. You sleep with a smile on your face. Everything is normal.
Oh, so subtle. So subtle.
It's bypassed. Supposed to cure a homosexual.
I would watch that.
Oh, Tempest Teuton, race war. Literally, Tempest Teuton, race war.
No, you don't understand. It's actually a lot more innocent. Private race.
Jersey Vice, loud guns, louder shirts. Oh god, fuck you.
This feels like him trying to be like RoboCop, but if RoboCop was the setting of RoboCop was made by an autist.
This is what happens when you get a 30-plus-year-old sad fag to basically make not even Seth MacFarlane level parodies of stuff that people know. They know what it is.
This is what happens when Seth
E-Squad.
This is what
Non-stop action for the Spectre team on the run for a crime they did commit.
And
This
bless you viewers who actually can tell where they're reading, because I've been lost the entire time.
I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore.
I just know that after this, we're skipping, and because I ain't reading any of this shit.
Yeah, this is just utterly Chad being a
It gives,
dumbass boomer
Oh my
screaming
God.
about his special interests.
And it's in fucking first person writing. I'm looking at it.
Oh God.
Oh, fuck you, Chad. Nope. Skipping. Skip.
And we finally get to the rules.
System.
Yay!
I want to die. We finally got to what I wanted, but I don't.
Yes,
get
it only took us. It only took us almost 80 pages. In a good RPG, you would be there in like 10 or 20.
And in a White Wolf one, you'd at least know how the clans and the world works in a far shorter time.
I wish the Ku Klux Klan was here.
Oh God! Come on, Biggie.
Come on.
You gotta keep
I did
yourself.
not know you were that suicidal, man.
I'm just gonna go out.
To be fair, we've been repeating the signal so much that I think we're all wishing for sweet death,
Yeah,
sweet relief.
I think
Take me away.
this seems like a good place to leave off.
Yeah.
Can we leave
Well,
off on the lady that looks like she's just throwing that guy so half-heartedly?
But I will leave off with one comment. This reveals
that?
Chad Walker's giantess fetish.
So what you're saying is he wants
boy.
a tranny. He wants a tranny Michelle Obama.
What I'm saying is he would love Samus Aran to actually be an Indian-looking girl.
Oh.
Because remember, everyone who is not those who remember, Samus is supposed to be something like 6'3", I think. She's tall.
Yeah.
Oh, she's not giantess. If she was like 8 foot, then we're getting into the macro territory.
Well, we're getting into macro here because I'm imagining these are like your average 6-foot guys, and look at how big she is.
So what you're saying is Chad's 5'1" is what you're saying.
What I'm trying to say is that looking at that he always has to look up to the 1 or 2 times he managed to get a date on Tinder.
Oh, poor Chad.
Grinder.
We feel for you, Chad. It's hard being a manlet.
Yes.
It's hard being a manlet, and it's hard reading this book. Seriously, I'm sorry, viewers, if you thought this was a little confusing. It was the same way for us, and we fucking read the book.
This is honestly, viewers, we saved you a lot because it was boring, and it would have made me melt. It would have melted your mind and brains of us having to slog through shit lore.
It's not even shit lore. It's Chad Walker going, hey, remember in the 80s when you used to have to actually use landline phones? Wasn't that cool? Oh, how about the Pontiac Firebird? Wasn't that a cool car? I miss when cars were called muscle cars. Oh, remember the mod 300 BP bit dial-up? You know, where you sign on and there's no AOL, so you had to actually know how to hack? I miss those days. They were better then. I didn't have any responsibilities. Fuck you, Dad.
I know he's trying to get you, he's trying to immerse you in the world, but all it does is when you do that, you should be able to do, if you're trying to do this to immerse me in the world, yeah, don't do it this way, because now it's just, because all I noticed with Chad Walker's work, a lot of it is big meaningless words. You are right, Randall.
Yeah.
Big, large words coming from a small, narrow mind.
This is we are drinking the diet generic Coke of RPG.
You know, the worst part about all of this, in my opinion, is you could do what he wanted to do. I can tell you right now, I could cut about 30 pages from this piece of shit. Because remember, that whole chapter is gone, and there's entire sections where we skipped, and we didn't lose any understanding.
This goes into Splat. If you're gonna pull this shit, put it in a Splat book.
Oh God.
News is next week we can actually cover the goddamn mechanics of this thing.
And
I have the
hopefully,
feeling it's going to be a T10 system like the old White Wolf setup.
and hopefully, just
It
hopefully,
is.
and hopefully, just hopefully, I'll be able to run our own game. I'll be
Oh
able to
God, if it's a fucking White Wolf, oh God, this is dollar store White Wolf.
My
Tune in
soul
next week, people.
tune in next week as my soul fades into the abyss, seeking for that final end.
I'll thank
As
God
I
that
go reach for the 357 in my drawer.
And I think that's a
I'll,
good cutoff.
I'll thank God that Clan just answered my messages are coming with me with the rope. I'll thank God, thank you, yes.